farm after the previous owner died.
So tonight, the intake of animals we're learning is the largest that the nonprofit has seen in 2023. So this year alone. But they are asking for your help this evening. Our Tom Kowalski was at the Anna shelter earlier today. Tom, exactly how many animals were rescued? What is the situation tonight?
Well, Mike and Eva, of the 146 live animals that were rescued, 95% of which were rabbits, but there were a few cats and dogs in there as well. And now the shelter is calling for you to help, be it either through donation or adoption. 137 rabbits, 4 dogs, and 1 cat were rescued from a Butler County farm last week, with likely more to come. The animals were abandoned after the previous owner had died, causing about 300 animals to starve, according to the Anna shelter.
It was a almost 4-day process because it was the rabbits, dogs, cats. It was a lot of animals. Most of them were rabbits, though, like you see here. Netherland dwarf rabbits, to be exact. So I've learned a lot about rabbits over the last couple days.
Ruth Thompson, founder and director of the Anna shelter, was called on by the state police to a barn where the animals were found, where she and her volunteers began the process of moving the animals to a safer and cleaner facility.
I've compared some of these places, and this being one of them, to as close as what I would think hell would look like. So to get them out of that situation and to get them into better situations, I mean, that's why I started this place. It's, needy and neglected. That's what the 2 N's stand for in Anna. So this is like the poster child for the needy and neglected animals.
And Jessica Kellogg, a fellow Anna member who helped with the rescue, says the adoptable rabbits can make great pets.
If you live somewhere where you can't have a little dog or a cat, and you're allowed to have a caged animal, rabbits will jump up on your couch and watch TV with you. They'll follow you around your house. They're litter trained very easily. I mean, they're great little pets. You just got to watch that they don't chew cords because they're just kind of like kittens in that sense. But, I mean, their care is fairly easy once you know what they're allowed to eat, and they're really quiet.
Now, if you're interested in adopting one of the rabbits, the shelter asks that you call them first. Don't just visit their facility. Their phone number is 814-451-0230. We'll also have that number on erienewsnow.com. Live in the studio, Tom Kowalski, Erie News Now.
All right, Tom, thanks. We're turning our attention to weather coverage. John Stalen here with the first check at 6 o'clock. John, we've been seeing a lot of rain recently in these early evening hours.
Yeah, some rain moving on by. It waited for the most part to the evening hours. And of course, the good news, bad news is that it's still going to rain a little bit throughout the overnight. But all in all, temperatures are going to stay pretty comfortable. We get into the lower 60s for daytime highs. Probably will be a while before we see that again. You can see here Bob Ferrando World Camera, and not much in the way of rain. You got green conditions from 7 to 9, and then after that, do have some passing shower possibilities. Bob Ferrando Ford World Cam for you there. You can see those showers raced across the area, some of them pretty heavy, and did see a little bit of lightning with that, but not just some widely scattered showers moving on through Cambridge Springs and into Edinburgh. Crime Victim Center camera, nice and fresh from its shower. 58 degrees right now. Winds picking up just a little bit, and we are looking at some wind gusts that exceed 30 miles an hour across the area. That could be a problem tonight. Holding on to 60s in the Meadville, 57 in Venango County, 51 up in the Clymer. All in all, a very comfortable evening. 63 our high. That rain necessarily not before after 5 o'clock. So nonetheless, we'll update that for you tomorrow morning when the official numbers come out at midnight. Few showers out there. 8 p.m. 58 degrees. We're 58 at midnight. We're staying calm, but temperatures will continue to fall throughout the day. So whatever the midnight high is will be the high for your Tuesday and Election Day. We'll have your Election Day forecast and take a look at Pennsylvania's Winter Weather Awareness Week that starts today.
Erie News Now is election coverage you can count on, helping you make your choice ahead of going to the polls. Tomorrow, Tuesday, November 7th, is finally Election Day. Voters will cast ballots in statewide judicial and municipal races from city and county council to school boards and township supervisors.
A countywide race that has a lot of interest in Erie County is the contest for one open seat for judge on the Erie County bench. Our Lisa Adams checked in with both candidates today to see how they're feeling ahead of Election Day. Lisa, good evening.
voter registration.
It's a fight to the finish for two local attorneys, each hoping to become a judge on the Erie County bench. Still work to be done right up until the polls open on Tuesday, including placing signs near voting precincts.
You're allowed to do that 24 hours before the actual election, so that's been my task all morning and probably for the balance of today.
We're handing out poll watching certificates and putting up signs of voting locations and trying to organize everyone.
Eric Mikovich of Elk Creek Township is running on the Republican ticket and Pete Sala of Erie on the Democratic ticket. Both say since the primary they've had time to meet and greet more voters with their main messages.
And so what I tell them is I'm Pete Sala, what office you're running for, Erie County Judge, and that I'm the only candidate highly recommended by the Erie County Bar Association, because that really speaks volumes, and then people say, okay.
If I bring common sense to the bench and give everybody their time and attention that they deserve, then I'm going to have the opportunity to get the best decision that we possibly can for each case.
There's a big disparity in fundraising and spending in this race. Mikovich has invested $68,000 of his own money into the campaign just since the primary.
I felt that was my personal obligation because this is something that I personally want to undertake. And so that's what I was willing to back up, whether it was in a work ethic or whether it was financially.
Sala's spending $15,000 of his own and his fundraising much more modest.
There were a lot of people who gave smaller amounts, and we're really proud of that because it's not about the amount of money you raise, it's about the campaign you're running.
Both believe they can make a difference on the bench. And each candidate will be working the polls tomorrow and then watching the returns come in once those polls close. Sala will be at Calamari's, Mikovich with his supporters at Otis 12, and I'll be covering the race tomorrow night. And I'll be sure to have my microphone on. Live in the studio, Lisa Adams, Erie News Now.
Lisa, thank you for your report as always. Former President Donald Trump taking the stand today in New York City to testify in the civil trial, which alleges he and his companies inflated their assets in fraudulent financial statements.
The civil trial started last month after a New York judge found Trump and his co-defendants liable for persistent and repeated fraud. Experts say Trump could be forced to pay hefty fines if found liable. The New York Attorney General is also seeking to ban Trump from doing business in New York, and he wants to dissolve his companies there. But as far as his bid for the presidency, some believe this trial will only help Donald Trump. Experts predict Trump will continue to use this case as an opportunity to take bad news and turn it into good politics and good publicity. Analysts say it's important to look at how voters feel about Trump's civil cases when compared to the criminal ones, and that whichever case is front and center next year could have the biggest impact on the election.
When we asked about the civil trials, particularly the one with the payoff to Stormy Daniels, people were more likely to say it was politicized. But then when we asked them about the January 6th trial and the trial in Georgia on the election fraud, people were less likely to say. So what really could come to bear here is whether or not which of these trials is in the public mind when we get to next year.
And new polls from the New York Times and Siena College found President Biden is trailing Trump by 4 to 10% in 5 of the 6 key swing states, including Pennsylvania. Still to come this evening, the winter months often bring an increased risk of getting sick. And ahead, we'll take a look how you can avoid the cold and flu season in Warren County. We'll be right back.
Now, First Warning Weather with John Stalen.
Email. Just to let you know, no shave November over here, so that's why I will not be shaving for the month of November. Bring some awareness of cancer. We'll talk more about that as the month progresses, but I wanted to let you know that so I didn't get 100 emails about it. A few showers, mild lows for tonight, and gusty winds could exceed 30, 35 miles an hour. Got the big bulk of that rain raced across much of our viewing area. Now I get a little bit of some pop-up showers here right along that Crawford County, southern Erie County border. And again, this is the way it'll be for the next couple of hours. So if you are out and about, be prepared for a little bit of a rain shower or two popping on up. These shouldn't be as dramatic as the ones earlier today. And as we head on in to the election cycle for tomorrow, cloudy skies, maybe a little bit of some low-level moisture moving on by, maybe a spotty shower moving on in. I'm just putting for cloudy skies for tomorrow. It'll be a light chance, and by the time polls close, there should be no rain across the area, especially at 9 o'clock. And as we head on into Wednesday, a little bit clearer in the beginning of the day, but by the end of the day, we're going to see some rain showers. Still some strong winds as we head on through the nighttime, so a lot of folks putting up those election signs. Put them in good because some of these winds could blow some of them away or so watch out for that. On the overnight, they subside a little bit, but still relatively brisk for tomorrow, so be prepared for that. Week ahead, it's Monday, so let's take a look at what we can expect for this week. I say 'tis the season. It is the holiday season officially, and we are also looking at November, and we're pretty mild to start with temperatures into the 50s and 60s today, then a chilly finish into the 40s. Light showers expected for the remainder of the week from now until basically Friday, and then some widely scattered ones at that. And then be prepared, motto of the Boy Scouts, of course, and Winter Weather Awareness Week. And let's talk very quickly about that. Here in Erie, we have a number of weather offices: Buffalo, Cleveland, State College, and Pittsburgh. Yes, we used to have our own, but they took that away. And all of these will issue watches and warnings and advisories throughout the wintertime. So we have to work closely, and we do know everybody at all of those locations so that we can keep you safe. So a winter weather advisory, normally about the purple color there, either freezing rain or 2 to 4 inches of snow. It's mainly for motorists who are going to be on the roadways. That's what that advisory for. That would be an aware day, and an alert day would be a winter storm warning, and that means significant snow in a 24-hour period. Also could see some ice accumulation, and yes, life-threatening situations too, with power lines, maybe trees coming down, and of course very slick roadways. Heading out and about, some wet pavement out there. Watch out for a scattered shower. So otherwise, cloudy skies, a passing shower on the overnight. Temperatures will be into the 50s, but falling throughout the day, still with some gusty winds. Scattered shower for your Wednesday, an early shower for your Thursday, cloudy skies. We're chilly on Friday and chilly throughout the weekend. And yes, we have the polar plunge. I'll post that for you online.
All right, John, thanks. And as the cold and flu season approaches, our Washington Bureau reporter Jackie Palmer went out to gather some insights from local health practitioners and specialists to help you stay healthy during this challenging time.
Yeah, she says both holistic and traditional medical experts unanimously recommend a few strategies in Warren County to bolster your immune system and minimize your risk of getting sick. That is maintaining a balanced diet, avoiding excess sugar, staying hydrated, and getting adequate sleep, all key to preventative care.
One of the main things that I tell people, I usually have them do between 2,000 and 6,000 international units of vitamin D a day. And through the winter, that just keeps your immune system healthy.
Just if your car breaks down, it's always better to do preventative maintenance. So vaccines, preventative maintenance for the human body. So come on in, get a vaccine. We have a great staff here.
And the health practitioners she talked to today say with most insurance, vaccines are typically free. Next on Erie News Now, we're checking out the effort to help the homeless in downtown Erie. Our Elsbeth Meisner shares who is coming together for a plan. We'll be right back.
We're all about the election Tuesday morning on Erie News Now Sunrise. We'll be live with a look at what's on the line for voters, plus live reaction from local school leaders to word that some kids are using AI to create compromising fake photos of their classmates.
It's a great way to wake up.
You may. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're watching Erie News Now at 6 with Mike Ruzzi and Eva Mastromadio.
The homeless population continues to grow in downtown Erie, and there's concern that it could affect the success of businesses there.
But some business owners got some advice today about how to handle a situation that could make them feel uneasy. Our Elspeth Meisner joins us now. Elspeth, what did business owners learn today?
Mike and Eva, the Erie Downtown Partnership and the Mental Health Association of Erie teamed up to answer questions, give resources, and provide support to downtown business owners who had questions about how to help those without a home in downtown Erie. Representatives from several downtown businesses attended the meeting and workshop at the Mental Health Association on Peach Street. Mental health experts demonstrated ways on how to de-escalate a situation, and law enforcement was also on hand to give advice about safety. Downtown business owners found the seminar to be informative and helpful, and they say they walked away with different tools they can use in their business when it comes to helping Erie's homeless population.
Feel safer, and just to know that we have the information, education that we need to not only help our employees understand what to do, but just to also help people that are in need, especially with the colder weather coming up, on how we can kind of better manage these situations and these challenges.
The Erie Downtown Partnership was pleased with the community response, and they hope to have more of these workshops once a quarter throughout the next few years. Elspeth Meisner, Erie News Now.
Elspeth, thanks. A husband and wife team running a sharp business ahead. Our John Last will show you their unique craft. That's up next in the next edition of The Last Word. Everyone who hunts and fishes knows how a useful good knife can be. A sturdy knife even comes in handy for those chores around the house.
And while a knife is certainly useful, and at the same time, it could also be a beautiful work of art. You know, there's a shop in southern Erie County where those knives and sheaths are handmade. And our John Last paid a visit there for this edition of The Last Word.
There's something I really admire about knife makers. I really respect their craftsmanship. And today, I get to meet one of them at his shop in Mill Village.
Starts with a piece of steel.
This is where Matthew McAlevy creates custom-made knives. 10 years ago, Matthew wanted to find a wintertime hobby. He is an outdoorsman and always carried a knife. He's also a full-time engineer and knows all about design, material science, and quality control. So he decided to make a nice knife.
I thought I'd make one or two, that winter and move on to something else, but it just caught the bug and it just haven't stopped since.
Knife making is now a side business for Matthew. He spends about 15 hours a week creating custom-made knives, and business is good. People like his knives and want one for themselves. Customers like the fact that their knife was made exactly how they wanted it.
Someone made it. It wasn't made by a machine in a factory. You know who made it. They made it with their hands, and a lot of people like that.
The customer can select the type of steel to be used for their knife. The steel is cut into the shape the customer wants. The metal is heated, then quenched in oil for hardness. The customer can select the material used for the handle. Matthew likes natural materials like wood, bone, and antler. There's sharpening of the blade and sanding of the handle. And eventually you have nice-looking knives like these.
Very fancy handle material and these fancy pins.
Matthew's wife Ramona creates the leather sheaths for the finished knives. Just like the knives, the sheaths are a beautiful work of art. Matthew used to make both the knives and the sheaths until 5 or 6 years ago.
I would, sit and watch him and just spend time in the shop together, and then he would little by little say, well, do you want to try this?
Ramona cuts the leather to fit the finished knife. She sews the pieces together, smooths the sides of the sheath, and then uses a stamp to make some outstanding designs. Then there's one final detail, the McAlevy family stamp.
And this is our mark that we put on every sheath.
A knife and sheath made by a husband and wife team. A work of art that's one of a kind. With the last word in Mill Village, John Last, Erie News Now.
John, thanks for that story. Boy, they are so talented, that couple. And a knife made at the shop could be a holiday gift for someone.
However, the husband and wife team are booked with our orders throughout the month of February. We'll be right back.